Hey there friends, Marie here from Nicole Designs, and I'm going to be making a fun Christmas card today. I'm starting out with some of this mixed media paper from scrapbook.com. It is a very heavy duty paper. It can stand up to a lot of mixed media, but we're going to be doing some fun stamping on it. So I am using the Background Builder stamp set from Scrapbook. This has 4 different background designs, and you can see it's a strip of stamp with a design on it, and you can repeatedly stamp this design to build your background. So we are using the brick wall today. I thought the brick wall kind of felt Christmassy if we think about Santa coming down the chimney. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that out in red. All of my Christmas cards lately that I've been creating have been red and white, a very candy cane theme, and I don't know why. It's just what I'm a little bit obsessed with right now. So we're going to stick with that red and white theme. We're inking up our stamp with some Distress Oxides, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it out on my MISTI. Now the magnets I have in my MISTI are actually the magnets from the new glass mat from Scrapbook. It is a magnetic glass mat. It comes with those 4 round magnets, and they are thin enough to fit in your MISTI. The only difference I would say to those and the MISTI magnets are they are a little bit weaker than the MISTI magnets. So just keep that in mind if you're going to stamp with them. I like to lift my MISTI door very carefully so that it does not, stick to the paper and drag it around with those magnets, but they do an okay job keeping your paper down. So if you want to do some double duty there with the magnets on your glass mat and the magnets on your MISTI, they work fine. So I've stamped out my first background stamp here, and I'm just going to move that brick wall design. I'm lining it up so that I can kind of stagger those bricks there, and I'm just going to ink it up and stamp it again. Now when I stamp this and I lift my MISTI door, you're going to see I did not line up my bricks perfectly. It's a little bit crooked, but you know what? I'm fine with it because I'm making handmade cards. They're not going to be perfect, and I'm just enjoying creating, and I think whoever is going to get this card is going to enjoy the card anyway. So don't always worry about it being perfectly perfect. So now I'm just going to go ahead and line this up and stamp again, just continuing that whole pattern along the whole background here. And I am going to add a border later, so I probably didn't have to worry about filling up every single spot around the edges, but I didn't know that at the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep stamping and fill my background. And you can see how fun that is. You can go ahead and try to get it lined up as perfect as you want if you wish, but it didn't bother me for this card, so I just continued my stamping. Now you can see I have one little edge here that I wanted to fill, so I really like how these stamps are clear. You can kind of see through them to the paper behind to see where you are lining things up. So I went ahead, lined that up, and stamped one little row of bricks to finish off this background, and I really like how it turned out. Now, of course, you can use any kind of color you wanted, but I'm going with the red because I thought a red brick background would just remind me of a chimney that Santa would come down for Christmas. So here's our background. I did do a little bit of white splatters. You can't see it very well, so I didn't include that in the video, but I did put that in here. I also have this frame that I kept from a previous card. Now, this is another candy cane card. You can see around the edges there, I cut out that panel, and I saved this frame because it was so perfect, and I thought I would pair it with this. I don't know if the candy cane stripes are too wild with the background of the bricks, but I'm going with it. I'm also taking a frame from this nested stitched scalloped frames set. This is not the largest one, but it's the next size down, which gives me a nice window. And I'm going to use this window to put some of the Christmas animals rub-on transfers. They are the cutest little images I have ever seen for Christmas, and I just wanted to make and frame a little scene here. So I am putting some of this double-sided adhesive on the back of my frame, It's very easy to apply. You can just tear it with your fingernail, which is what I'm doing. And then I'm going to peel off that backing paper to reveal the other sticky side. And I'm using a little piece of vellum. So sometimes I use acetate on my windows so it's nice and clear. This time I'm going to give my window a little bit of a frosty feel with that vellum. So I'm adhering that down on the back side of my frame. And once it's all stuck in place, I'm just going to grab my scissors and trim it off. So I have this little piece of vellum. I have it left over from another project. As you can see there, I cut a tag out of it earlier, and I just love keeping my scraps. I have a scrap drawer that I throw everything in, and so I just open that drawer and find the little pieces of cardstock that I need. I don't organize it by color or anything fancy. I just throw it all in the drawer, and it's working for me. So here are these Christmas animals rub-on transfers. Like I said, they are so cute. You have so many different animals here. You've got little images of gifts and snowflakes. I love that some of them are gold foiled, so you can add some shine to your backgrounds and your cards as well. But I am just kind of flipping through these images, seeing which ones are gonna work, and I came to the decision to use this sweet little mouse couple under the mistletoe. I just liked the way they were positioned. I thought it would look really great in this little card here. So I'm going to cut those out and apply them on my little frame and just, apply them with the popsicle stick that's also included with these transfers. Now, one thing I love about these transfers is I don't have to worry that some of the image is hanging over the vellum and onto the frame, because this sticks to all of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and rub this on my background, and even though some of the images is spilling out over onto the frame, it's all going to apply, and it's just going to look really great. I think it gives it a little bit more dimension when you have it on the background and on the frame. It's like it's kind of popping off the page for you. But if you don't like that, you can always just apply it to the vellum. You don't have to apply it to the frame, but I just liked the look. Now I am going over it really well with that popsicle stick. I want to get every little square inch of this image so that it all applies neatly. And I'm even taking that popsicle stick and running it into the crease there between the frame and the vellum paper behind, just to make sure it all sticks and we get a really great image. But I will say these transfers are not hard to put on at all. They stick really well, especially if you put them on something like acetate or vellum. They just work so well. I really like them. They're really fun to build scenes with. Now, when I do take that paper off, I take it off very gently, because sometimes if you have an area that's not properly pressed down, it will pull up with that transfer paper. So I just peel it off slowly. So if I can see it sticking, I can lay it back down perfectly placed, give it another press with my popsicle stick, and then lift it up. And it's really no problem. It's really quite simple. You can also layer the images for these transfers. You can see I can put one image on top of the other. So you could kind of think of it as a masking technique and build a dimensional scene if you want, thinking of what you want in front and what you want in the background of your scene. And so I am taking the Merry Christmas sentiment here, and I'm just putting it right over our sweet little mouse couple and layering some of these rub-on transfers because they're so easy to do. And so I have a whole scene now here on my frame to go on the front of my card, and it was so super easy. Now I love stamping and coloring also, but sometimes if I want to make a quick card, the transfers are the way to go. So I'm just peeling that backing transfer paper off, and there is my little scene. So cute. Now you could go ahead and make this a shaker card, but I already did that with one of my other cards this season, so I just left it a fun little frame. I glued everything together with a mixture of liquid glue, double-sided adhesive, and foam adhesive, and I'm finishing it off with this red and white baker's twine because I don't have enough red and white going on this card already, apparently, but somehow with all the craziness, it still comes together, and I still like the way it turned out. So that is today's card. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you wanted to see anything that I have used in today's videos, I will have links down below in the description box. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you tap that bell for notifications, hit the like button, add a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, just do all the things, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks everyone. Bye.